by 2008 when America sponsors African troops and they land on the ground and they get into a fight with the militias, and militias are losing arms, and they're fighters so many of them are really killed in airstrikes, tanks, and all of this, and they were just recruiting people. They needed people, and I was in this limbo where I felt like this was happening. They either gonna find you, or what could you do? Nothing else. I had no other option at the time to get myself out or escape this situation except one route, which was tell my story to the world. So I started speaking to America by recording myself on a cell phone. But before that happened, I met this American journalist who was hiding himself in the trunk of a car, running all over Mogadishu, meeting militias. And then I saw him because he was taking pictures. And I walked up to him, and his bodyguards walked up to me, and they said, "We're going to shoot you. Get away." And then as we were arguing, he comes up and he says, "Let him in." So I started talking to him for 3 hours. He puts my story together, publishes it in a newspaper, and NPR finds out about it, and they say, "Will you be our man on the ground?" Wow, this guy who just learned English from movies and becoming a reporter. And I said, "I will think about it." And I talked to my mother. I whispered into her because it's not something that you could say out loud. And she said, "Hell no. Don't even try that." My brother was in a refugee camp in Kenya for 9 years. And he emailed back and he said, "Go ahead and do it. Because what have you got to lose? Nothing." And I said, "Great. Okay, that's all I needed." So I needed a push. I started recording myself in a cell phone. And then the stories went out to the US. And then what happens? The Americans listen. And there's this stranger, a woman in Maine, writes me a long email. And the email's title was "Excruciating, Gorgeous, and Painful." And I read that several times to figure out what she was talking about. And she went to Afghanistan. Her name is Sharon McDonald. She went to Afghanistan, and she has a son who's 20 years old at the time. And she compares me to what she had seen in Afghanistan. And she says, "Not many people know about this, but I somehow feel exactly what you're going through. So in this case, I'm here to help. What can I do?" And I said, "Get me out of here." Within 5 days, she put together a team that composes of 8 people called Team Abdi. So Team Abdi gets me out of Somalia. I come to Kenya, join my brother. 2012, when I joined my brother in Kenya and we lived as refugees, we went to a church in central Kenya.